Let's take a look at providing for continuous improvement. The selection and orientation stages of hiring new staff represent only the beginning of the employment phase. It's only when human potential is maximized that educational excellence can be achieved. The cultivation of individual potential is the primary responsibility of a leader. Evaluating the effectiveness of development programs is essential to judging their impact. Process management is a highly effective method used in business to promote efficiency and effectiveness. Process management is a systems thinking approach to leadership that calls for an improvement program that is planned, coordinated, and evaluated through the systematic efforts of management and labor. Process design begins with the leader's commitment to improving existing conditions. The design of improvement processes is a comprehensive, step-by-step plan which specifically states goals and objectives and clearly delineates roles and responsibilities to improve existing conditions. Both shared responsibility and authority are essential to program success because the magnitude of the proposed change demands more than unilateral control and progress monitoring. Formative evaluation methods are used in the coordination phase to adjust for inadequacies in the process design. Evaluation, the fourth phase of the process design model, provides ongoing assessment to ensure quality outcomes. Summative evaluation methods provide an overall assessment of the results of program implementation, whereas formative evaluation methods are continuously applied to the adjustments made from summative results. The infusion of formative evaluation methods eliminates the traditional practice of after-the-fact assessment, which evaluates artifacts that may or may not fulfill the original objective. Process management also replaces volume thinking, the idea that more is better, regardless of what it is, and randomized prescription that anything labeled as innovative and somewhat successful must produce positive results. Randomized thinking negates the need for the personalized approach to solving problems. Poorly planned and delivered staff development programs have a negative influence on morale. Staff development has been defined differently depending on the source affixing a name to the process. Each term, however, shares common goals: to change employee behavior and to provide processes that promote more effective and efficient outcomes. Basically reactive in nature, staff development focuses on providing new knowledge and skills, attitudes, and beliefs. Proactive programs address the anticipated professional and personal needs as individuals. Holistic programs are systematic, comprehensive programs rather than a one-shot attempt to reform. Maximizing human potential is accomplished through process, structured, custom-designed programs. Maximizing human capital comes not from control, but from liberating intelligence, from fostering pride in one's work, and from allowing people to have a vested interest in their accomplishments. Traditional organizational structures work against the benefits of distributed intelligence, freely sharing knowledge and ideas and working cooperatively to improve continuously both individual and organizational goals. Information systems are needed that encourage the use of data and creativity to solve problems and make decisions. Central to the continuous improvement process is the plan, do, check, act, or PDCA cycle. As a process management system, the PDCA cycle translates to adding value to products and services. The entrepreneurial spirit reflects a commitment by an entrepreneur to improve continuously and to experiment and seek innovative ways to serve their clients better and satisfy their needs. Improvement is the result of exploring, taking risks, and seizing opportunities to change possibility into reality. This is achieved by adopting a synergistic approach to planning and implementing development programs. The overarching goal of staff development is to maximize human potential. Subsets of this goal are to stimulate the realization that changing current attitudes and behaviors can be personally and professionally rewarding. To indicate this understanding that satisfaction and growth comes from taking risks and being creative as well as productive. to develop the attitude that learning and applying the results of learning for professional and personal development are challenging and rewarding. These goals reflect a new paradigm for maximizing human potential through development, which instills the personal satisfaction and motivation to improve continuously and apply new knowledge and skills. Immediate feedback can also be provided through peer support networks. These networks consist of peers, discussion groups, and consultants. Peer networks reduce the threat associated with supervisor assistance and increase information credibility. The delimiting factors model is often used for its simplicity and comprehensiveness in designing development programs. Capturing the essence of process management, the model poses a series of questions that, when addressed, promotes a structured, systematic process for change. The following questions are posed during the delimiting factors model. Where are we? This calls for a clear and objective analysis of the existing situation based on data. Where do we want to be? This question is future-oriented and allows the targeting of a future state that includes specific goals and objectives for achieving them. What's keeping us from getting there? This calls for the use of TQM tools to identify the barriers to improvement and decide how to best overcome them. How do we best get there? This calls for a clear, free choice among existing alternative routes. How will we know when we get there? This question addresses the use of evaluation methods, both formative and summative, and their application to the PDCA cycle presented in an earlier course for achieving quality outcomes. Effectively planned development programs include joint planning and clearly defined goals and objectives based on specific needs and a well-designed delivery system that allows for continuity and comprehensiveness. They also include strategies for formative and summative evaluations. Evaluation of development programs should be comprehensive in scope, structured, and multidimensional. Good evaluation designs assess the value, quality, and effect of the program. Evaluation results should be used to make decisions based on the data, to refine or improve performance outcomes, and assessment results should also be used to make future decisions or to guide subsequent action. Evaluation investigates a particular program or variable at a particular site to ascertain the degree of effectiveness or the influence of the treatment through data. Analyzing data concerning the effectiveness of a treatment promotes better decision-making and more effective outcomes. In assessing evaluation outcomes, three assessment types are useful processes: product and impact. Process assessment focuses on determining the effectiveness of a process in achieving its intended results or goals. Product evaluation focuses on the value or benefit of a product, such as the instructional material. Impact assessment determines the degree of changed behavior in program participants' knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Evaluation designs are systematic plans developed to assess treatment effectiveness through data. They set the conditions and prescribe the measurements necessary to determine degrees of effect and quality. They enable practitioners to make meaningful decisions about future actions. The goals and objectives of any program help determine the evaluation design. Goals are desired outcomes, whereas objectives are the means to achieving those outcomes. Objective-based evaluation determines the degree to which program objectives were met and, in turn, the degree to which program goals were accomplished. Discrepancy is defined as the degree of variation of change in behavior on an expected to actual continuum. Measurable or behavioral objectives assess change in behavior. Well-written behavioral objectives contain the following components: when, who, what, how, and why. Evaluators either develop or assess existing project objectives and select an evaluation design that is appropriate to assess the process, product, or effect of the objective. Instruments and data analysis techniques used to measure program outcomes are selected after the evaluation design is chosen. Instruments may be standardized tests or self-made tests, interviews, questionnaires, rating scales, and observations. Concerns over reliability and validity are important and need to be addressed. Formative evaluation refers to appraisals of quality focused on instructional programs that are still capable of being modified. Formative evaluation, in a more general sense, is used to assess effect, worth, or progress while the treatment is in process. The process is proactive in nature. When evaluation results indicate a need for program modification, the evaluator makes recommendations for change and provides suggestions for program improvement. Summative evaluation is the appraisal of quality at the end of the program or project activities and is retroactive in nature. Decisions pertaining to the overall worth or effectiveness are made based on results of summative evaluation, and it's these decisions that influence current and future practice. Summative evaluation results also serve as the basis for goals and objectives for future program planning and improvement. Assessing change in behavior in the cognitive and affective domains calls for different types of evaluation instruments. In the cognitive domain, rating scales are commonly used to assess knowledge or skill change. Rating scales are often surveys or questionnaires, and often use Likert-type response scales with numerals 1 through 5 or 1 through 6. Only one concept or construct should appear on the STEM item or question. That is, do not assess the respondent's perception of two different skills or behaviors on the same STEM item. Observation to assess the frequency and the presence of a learned behavior is another valuable evaluation method. Some argue that the presence of observation contaminates or influences the observed behavior. When trained observers are included, when the observation instrument is valid and reliable, the result of the observation can be used to make sound evaluation decisions. An observation instrument should be designed by the instructor and a panel of experts on the behaviors to be observed. It's important that the panel be knowledgeable and adept in the practical applications of the stated objective. The observation should cover the period during which the observer can reasonably expect to see anticipated behavior. Results from cognitive and affective instruments can be analyzed using descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics include frequency count, mean, and percent, and through inferential statistics such as the t-test, chi-square, and analysis of variance. Description and inferential statistics are commonly used for both pre-test and post-test purposes. Several approaches are recommended when developing evaluation instruments for practical use. Generally, the following considerations are of primary importance in the development of an inventory or questionnaire. Clearly define assessment objectives. Translate these objectives into questions to which respondents can respond. Write questions in a clear and concise term using words that are easy to understand. Avoid placing more than one concept against a single stem. Make questions brief to enable respondents to answer them quickly. Make sure descriptions are appropriate for the STEM item. Avoid biased words or terms that may trigger a reaction to a concept other than the concept being assessed on the STEM. Specifically, the situational constraints asked by the question should be considered and are important in this development. The instrument itself will influence respondents' attitudes towards the importance of the topic being evaluated. Favorable impressions are essential for cooperation and serious mindsets. The following will elicit a favorable impression. Use quality paper of a pastel color and print only on one side using medium-sized type. Provide short, concise directions to avoid respondent confusion. Make sure spelling and grammar are correct and avoid abbreviations. Allow enough room for proper spacing of items and make sure questions are logically or sequentially arranged. Place the most important items at the beginning of the questionnaire and provide examples to illustrate questions that are difficult to understand. If written responses are necessary, leave adequate space. Often, the space for written responses is left blank if questions appear to be redundant or if the survey is too long. Proofread the instrument for any error.